Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest speaker today is Ron Kittle. Ron is tall, good looking, and he can leap small boxes with a single bound. Ron works for the Chicago White Sox in an ambassador position. He was a 10-year MLB player with 4 teams. He broke his neck in his very first game and was soon released due to injuries. He was again signed out of a personal tryout with the White Sox in 1978. His career was shortened due to injuries and played at about 60% of his ability with the skills lost from breaking his neck years earlier. He kept it going and eventually stopped due to the physician's recommendations, but Ron always played hard. Ron is an author, the only person to write a book and never have read one. And he is now working on book number 2. He's a motivational speaker, woodworker, artist, and motorcycle enthusiast. He rides more than 10,000 miles a year, and he makes baseball sports art that has been shipped all over the world. Ron is a father of 2, Haley, 25, and Dylan, age 23. He has a pooch named Harley. Ron has CDO. It's just like OCD, but it's in the right order. He sleeps no more than 4 hours a night and is a constant observer of ways to market and create new ways to promote skills and ideas of projects. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Kittle.
Thing was deciding, do I need a stand-up mic, a podium, or an audio one where I fly around. I really have a big mouth. I don't need a mic, honestly. But he read it just like I wrote it. And I do. I have a dog named Harley. Unfortunately, anybody here on Facebook with me, my dog is my life. I hand-train this thing. This dog smiles, sits, spins, does anything I want him to do. Smarter than my kids. He slipped last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, and he's partially paralyzed. So I've been nursing him back. And I have this unique ability with animals. I'm not a dog whisperer, a horse whisperer. I have a 357 Magnum shell on his collar. All my dogs have the same one. And I tell my vets, if it's over $2,500, we use the shell. That's my theory. So I take him in there. I'm not trying to be mean or nothing. But you know what? It's my tough compassion. And I'm going to tell you how I got started. I grew up in Gary, Indiana. My dad was an iron worker. My graduation present was a pink slip that said, "You are now an apprentice iron worker." You know, I'm thinking, my buddy's got cars. You know, they do big parties, big checks. I got a pink slip, American Bridge iron working. And Friday night was our graduation, and I stayed out till 4:30 in the morning. You know, at a church. And I had to start work at 5:15. I worked 107 days consecutively, 12 hours. So when I was 17 and a half years old, I had $72,000 in the bank. Okay? My dog has more money in his bank account than I do right now. But when I got to the big leagues in 1982, I made $30,000. I took a cut and pay to go to the major leagues. But things happen for a reason. So here I am, this pretty decent athlete, average student in high school. All the teachers love me. I honestly keep in touch with 15 of my class by teachers. I can tell you outfits they wore in high school, from the women to the guys. I can tell you who didn't polish shoes, or one lady who never shaved her legs for 14 years. And I tell her that, and she goes, "Are you still picking on me?" And she just moved down to Boca Raton, Florida. So, you know, I communicate with people. I've always been a people person. And I think it's important in your line of work to understand that. You try to surround yourself with good people. And I tell my kids that. If you hang around a bunch of turds, you're a turd. Do we need to be hit thumped in the head or something? No, that's what happens. So I try to associate with good people all the time. So here I am, ironworking, making money, and I'm cleaning my boots off one day. And it says, tryout, Port Indiana, Los Angeles Dodgers. And I covered up real quick because we were working 16 hours on Sunday and it was triple time. And I like money. I like nice things. My dad said, I'll pay you if you just go to the tryout. So literally I went to the tryout camp and I put on one of those. You have to perform and do well in front of people to get recognized. And unfortunately, a lot of us work in cubicles. Nobody gets to keep an eye on you until you turn in your paperwork. Then they got to read it and evaluate it. So that day I had an awesome day. Okay? All I cared about was going to work the next day and making more money. I love to work. I sleep 3 to 4 hours a night. I honestly wish I slept longer. I say jokingly, not to be rude, I hope one day I pee the bed, because that means I would be sleeping. But I get up, I'm an idea person. Do I have OCD? Oh, there's no doubt about that. I didn't even know what it was when I had it. ADHD, I got the whole alphabet. I'm pretty uniform. I cut my grass like 3 or 4 times a week in different directions. It's not weird, but people in a park department should do that. Not me. I became an Illinois resident. I'm living in Mokina now. Woo! And I will talk to those people in Mokina here soon enough. I got some ideas. But
glad to have you, Ron.
No, they're fun. We'll get it all worked out there. But anyway, so I go to this tryout. I sign with the Dodgers. And I go to spring training. And here I'm a kid, 18 years old, just ready to tackle the world. Knew I had a talent. And I played for the Clinton Dodgers. Mike Scioscia's my roommate, Mickey Hatcher, Dave Stewart, who pitched for the Oakland A's. We had a great team. So my first at bat, I hit a double. I mean, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I knew I was good. And Mike Scioscia's the next hitter. He hits a little flare to right field. I score. I slide across the plate. But what happens? A late throw comes in. I'm getting up. The catcher jumps, lands on me, and breaks my neck at home plate. My first at bat in the game. Paralyzed. So they take me off on the stretcher. And I was so scared of my dad growing up, I didn't even tell him I was hurt. Then again, I don't think I was smart enough to know my home phone number at 18, because I never called home. They used to sit there and drive to Iowa. They said, boy, you never going to call home and tell us what's going on? Never even thought about it. I was just an 18-year-old kid wanting to play ball. So unfortunately, my career hit a speed bump. And I partially came back, tried to play a little bit, still did all right. But at the time, they didn't know I had a broken neck. They thought it was my shoulder, my leg, or my back, or something like this. So my career stopped. I get evaluated by a doctor in Chicago. He goes, son, you have 3 crushed vertebrae and a cracked spinal cord. What are you doing even walking? And he goes, you will never walk normal again? He said, you'll never play sports. So about 3 days later, I wound up having surgery. They cut into the front. And back then, neurologists, there were very few of those specialists around messing with the spinal cord. So they took out a piece of hip bone, packed it in between the 3 vertebrae, and the hip still hurts to this day. And that happened in 1977. But my career was over. I had screws and a halo in my head. The screws are still there. They rattle on occasion. They'll rattle here in a couple of weeks when I go to Whistler to snowboard for the first time. So I took out a good insurance policy. I don't want to be a Sonny Bono and run into a tree or nothing like that. But you never know. You've got to be covered. But my life was over with as a kid getting a chance to play a sport that he liked. It's done. But getting back to my dad, I had a tough dad. I mean, tough dad. If anybody, who got whoopings when they were growing up? Multiply that times 10. And my friends were scared. My friends wouldn't even come to the front door when my dad was home. And I was the middle child, and I was a good kid. But I saw him work hard his whole life. And one of the stories that I reflect back on is he broke his arm. They put a cast on him. He'd come home late, probably 6 o'clock after the hospital, with a big old white cast. And in the morning, I saw him leaving at 5 o'clock, and he was cutting it off with a steak knife. And my dad was the toughest guy I've ever met. And I said, where are you going? I'm probably 10 years old. And he said, I got 6 kids. I got to feed the family. There's no workman's comp. You either go to work or you don't. So he cut his cast off, went to work, never said a word about it. That's the attitude that I have to take up. You are seeing a rejuvenated Ron Kittle here. I have struck out in front of 60,000 people before. Do I care? I care that I failed. But every day I went to at bat playing baseball, I wanted to be the hero. Okay? I worked for the Chicago White Sox as an ambassador. They gave me that title because they gave it to Carlton Fisk. And they figured, well, hell, he earns that title too. Carlton never shows up, so I do all his job. He's too busy in the cornfields. Come on now. That's my old roommate now. We can pick on him out there. But, you know, you learn life's lessons. So all of a sudden you're in minor league baseball and you're traveling around and you see so many people with so much talent doing stupid things. And I reflect everything I do learn in sports as teamwork. You know, they always say there's no I in team. I kind of disagree with that. I need to do good so my team gets a little bit better. I don't know if anybody follows that or not. That's what I think you need to do. So I teach my values to my children, my friends. I travel all over the world and I speak. And I love meeting people. I can pretty much tell you right now, I may not remember one of your names, but I can glance around and tell you what outfit you had on today. I wish I didn't. I wish I could not, but that's just one of those things that circulates through his brain. So I met some very popular people in life. I've met 5 presidents. You know, do I like them all? Didn't matter. Just got the chance to meet them. But you meet people in different ways. So my career takes a step and stumble. I got the halo still in my house. I save it as a memento of getting a second chance. Okay? I don't think I wasted the first one, but I kind of come back and felt. I hated everybody when I got hurt. Why it happened. And I believe it happened for a reason. And then you got to figure out for yourself.